shall we talk about? Well, someone has been asking me about my walking, especially my long walking trips. So I thought I would do a little bit of a chat about that, how it came about. There is a lot of pages on my blog, so you can refer to that afterwards if you like. But anyway, long distance walking. Can you see me, Mother? I'm sat in a different place here. Hold on a minute. Just adjust that angle for a minute. Yes. Now, how did I start long distance walking? Well, I was a member of the Walking Forum, and I still am. And I was reading up about other people's long distance walking, and I thought, well, I wonder if I could do that. You'll have to forgive me, I've got a little bit of a, as I always do. So, I was invited to a party in Blackpool, my mate's 60th retirement party, and I thought, yes, I will go to Blackpool to the party. I could drive there, I could go to the party, and I could drive back. Easy. But then I thought, I wonder, shall I go on the train and walk back? And I thought about it, and I thought, well, why not try it? I didn't know whether I could do it. I didn't know whether I would have the stamina to walk for 7 days. So I thought, yes, got to do it. So that's what I did. I went to the party Saturday night. I'd already booked a cheap B&B very close to the venue of the party, and after breakfast the next morning I set off walking home. Now, it was 137 miles in 7 days. That's what it took me. But how did I plan it? Well, I've got all the paperwork here, and what I did was print off maps from the OS site, and oops, let me get one or two out here. There you are, printed off some maps, and I did a sort of a plan of a route, which way, stuck them all together like that. So I was walking from one side of the country to the other, and I didn't follow that pink line exactly. It was a guide, and I made it up day by day. I didn't have any accommodation booked, so I would just walk all day and stop and ask someone, where can I get a bed? B&B, hotel, youth hostel, pub, anywhere. And I always found a bed for the night. So I started at Blackpool. Now what I did was use the Humber Bridge as my finishing point, because I live just a bit south of the Humber Bridge, and I knew if I got to the Humber Bridge I could get somebody to come and pick me up. So yes, I've got all the maps still. I could go and do the same thing again, but it's useful to keep those for future reference. Now, yeah, I did it in 7 days. I must say that it was very hard work, very strenuous to just keep going, and I've got blisters. My rucksack was too heavy. I actually jettisoned some of my clothes. I stopped at a phone box and sorted out my clothes because it was the first time I didn't know what I was going to need. So I left a pile of my clothes in a phone box somewhere, hoping that somebody would find them and use them. The rucksack that I use for the longer walks, I bought especially for the longer walks. Now, quite big, as you can see. When it's full, it's heavy. Now, inside there, I found 2 long steel rods which go down the back of it. And I thought, why am I carrying long steel rods about? So I took them out, threw them in the hedge. So that lightened it a bit. But yeah, that's the rucksack that I bought for long walks, which is a lot bigger than the one I use for the very short day walks. Can you see me, Mother? So, big rucksack and nice comfy boots. These are my boots at the moment that I'm using. And this is my second pair of these, or maybe even third pair of these Berghaus boots. Now, I came across these boots at the outdoor store, and when I tried them on first, I thought, oh, these are really comfortable, because they do half sizes, so I have a 6.5 size. Now, there's still a lot of wear left in those. Excuse me. And I have a brand new pair here, ready for when they have finished with. But yes, Berghaus, really comfortable boots for me. But if you're going to do this walking, you must go to a shop and try on boots. And the long walks, really, you need to be wearing well-worn-in boots, not new ones. So, yeah, so the second walk, the first walk, yeah, I got, well, let me just tell you about that last day of that walk, day 7. I got to Selby in East Yorkshire, and I stayed at the pub next to the Selby Minster, and set off the next day after breakfast, and I just kept going and kept going and kept going, and I could see the Humber Bridge in the distance, and I thought, oh, it's a long way away. I really need to do another night out somewhere, but where? Between Selby and the Humber Bridge, there's not a lot to choose from, and there's 1 or 2 posh hotels, but at the time I was doing it, I was really skint, you know. So I just kept going. I could see that Humber Bridge walking along the north bank of the river, and I just kept going. And I got to the Humber Bridge. I've been walking for about 14 hours that day. It was a Saturday night, and it was 9 o'clock at night when I got there. And I rang a friend, and I had to ring 3 friends before I found one that hadn't had a drink of alcohol. So 2 friends came and picked me up. I said, you'll have to drive over the bridge because I cannot possibly walk another step. So they did that. I checked it later on. How long was that last day? I was averaging 18-20 miles a day. That last day, after I checked it, it was 30 miles. How on earth did I walk 30 miles? But I did it. But the buzz I got from finishing that whole thing, you know, I mean, I had a few days to recover. Feet up, oh my feet, oh my poor feet. And anyway, after I got over that, I thought, you know, that was blooming good, wasn't it? I really like that. The idea of putting a rucksack on your back with a few bits and bobs in, and off you go. And some of the walks that I've done, I took a little computer with me, and I blogged as I went along. So I would be in a B&B or hotel or something overnight, after walking all day, then putting the photographs on, then doing the write-up. And it was taking me until midnight to do that. And all I wanted to do was go to bed. But after a few walks, you know, blogging every day, it's just such hard work. So what I do now is if I go anywhere, the blog, it happens afterwards when I come back, you know, and the videos as well. So anyway, I did one walk, and I've got this. The next one I did was 162 miles. I thought, go to Morecambe on the train and walk back again to the Humber Bridge. And what I did for that one is, I don't know if you can see, I made a bit of a plan, again with the maps. So I set off, I got the train to Morecambe. First night, Kirby Lonsdale. Second night, the station in Ribblehead. That was one place I did book, because there's absolutely nothing there. So I did book the station in at Ribblehead. You know, the viaduct where the trains go over? The next one was Settle. I got to Settle, then Settle to Malham, to Grassington to Hebden, Pateley Bridge, Ripon through to Boroughbridge, Myton, Bennyborough, Nether Poppleton, York, got through to York, Stamford, Pocklington, Burnby, Lonsbury, Beverley, and then Beverley to the Humber Bridge. So that was 162 miles in 9 days. So I've kept all of these because it's nice to look back on. There was one walk where I decided I would actually set off walking from the Humber Bridge and walk out. So that's what I did there. I walked to, here we go. I walked from Humber Bridge to Towthorpe to Stockton on the Forest, Stockton to Easingwold, Easingwold to Burneston, Burneston to Leyburn, Leyburn to Hawes, Hawes to Kirby Stephen, Kirby Stephen to Culgaith, which is near Penrith, and I finished up at the railway station at Penrith. So I did it the opposite way around. Again, not booking any accommodation. So, yeah, doing it that way around meant that I walked into Penrith railway station and said, could I have a ticket to Scunthorpe? And that's when I got the shock, because it costs a lot more. If you train out, of course, you can get a cheaper ticket, but train coming back, it's expensive. Anyway, so that's how I've started long distance walk. I must say, I really did like it. Now, I'm a bit older now. I haven't done one for a while. I did two train rides up to Newcastle on Tyne, and I walked back from there. One was down the coast road, the North Yorkshire coast, and the other one was straight down through the towns and cities back to the Humber Bridge. I did one train across to Ellesmere Port. Now for that I was coming through Derbyshire, and I ought to do another video because I've got quite a few little stories. Coming through Derbyshire and yeah, back to Scunthorpe. So I was below the river at that point. So we've got the river dividing really. So if I start below the river, that's the way I come back. Anyway, I'll stop it at that because I don't want to ramble on for too long. And yeah, long distance walking, it was fantastic. You know, it's when you set off, you're full of energy, and as the week goes on, you think, oh God, this is hard work, and you go slow. But what you have to do, day 1, 2, 3, 4, is hard on the feet, the legs, the muscles. Oh, but after that, what you need to do is detach your brain from your body. So just take yourself off somewhere else in your head and forget about the pain you're going through. So anyway, I'm going to put some links on the bottom of this video to the blog postings, and then you can have a read as well. Okay, this is me, Queen. Bye for now. Toodle-pip.